Episode 33 of the Beyond the Cubicle podcast.
33 weeks.
We are chugging along. Man, today's episode is all about performance in a way, but it's about performance and money. And don't we love talking about getting paid?
That's how you got to get paid.
That's it, right? All right. Episode 32 of the Beyond the Cubicle podcast. We're talking about how to hack your performance review. 33. Look at that. See, I'm already getting confused. 33 weeks.
Review lately.
Yeah, I have one. 33. Hack your performance review.
Yes.
All right, we're back. Episode 33 of the Beyond the Cubicle podcast.
Right.
I am one of your trusty hosts, Brian Montgomery.
I'm the other one, Eric Kelly.
Social media, you can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at This Is BTC, the Beyond the Cubicle podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Apple, if you're listening on an Apple product, the podcast app, just hit that 5 stars, and just
give us a good rating.
Yeah, leave us a review. It helps other people find us on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. We put the episodes out each week right there.
Okay.
Right along with the audio. All right, today's topic, hacking your performance review.
Right. People hate them.
Yeah, I was inspired by this. This topic was inspired by just conversations that I've had with peers and just others that I know that are in situations where, they're ready for a higher compensation.
Mm-hmm.
They're ready for a promotion of some sort or that type of deal.
Right.
But they feel like they're not getting the opportunities.
Right.
And so my thing as of late has always been to don't focus on the external factors, meaning what my manager is doing or not doing for me, what the company is doing or not doing for me. I need to focus on me and the things that I have control over. And one of the things that I have control over is my performance.
Right.
And in order to justify anything that I ask for, whether it's a promotion or a raise or anything of that sort, I need to have something that shows my value and my justification for my request.
Okay, you use 3 big words.
Which is...
Stop using big words.
Justification.
Man. How many syllables? Justification. Oh, man, that's a 5-syllable word. Okay, let me break it down to you. Performance reviews?
Yeah.
This is how you get paid.
That's it. That's it.
This is how you get paid. And the reason is that companies have to find a way to quantify your work.
Yeah.
So they can assign a number to it, so they can put you in the little pay scale pecking order.
This
They got
is true.
salary grades, They got compa ratios for all you HR people that are out there, where you are in relation to midpoint of your salary grade, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Short, this is how you get paid.
That's how you get paid.
Yep.
All right, so let's jump into it like this then. The purpose of the performance review, and we kind of already touched on it a little bit, but in my mind, that's your report of how you're doing, right, with your job and how you're performing.
It's your report card.
Yeah, it's your good. It's your report card. It's your report card.
Hopefully they've had a conversation with you.
Right.
That says, I expect these things in 2018 for you to pick up that bonus, pay raise, whatever, and start in 2019 making more money than you made last year. So that's how the game really is played.
Right. And so let's put this in perspective of our running theme on this entire podcast, which is PIES, right? PIES.
Absolutely.
Performance, image, exposure, and spirituality.
Right.
This clearly falls into a couple of those categories, which is P and E for sure.
And you need some spirituality to give you a bad performance review.
You absolutely do.
But upside your head.
But one of the things that we've said constantly is if you go to work and you just do what's in your job description, right, it'll keep you a job, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at this just like taking your example of like this is your report card.
Right.
If you go to work and you perform your job description and that's it, you get a C.
You get a C.
You get a C. Middle of the road, you get a C.
Now, here's the junk they tell you. It's called meets expectations.
Yes.
You know, they say, well, no, that's not a bad. You meet expectations, but you get no extra gravy on your potatoes.
None. None.
So meets expectations is great.
Yeah.
Because now if you don't, you won't be there.
Right.
But that's not enough to get you what you want.
It's not enough.
Nope.
This is also, just like we just said, this is a tool that's used in compensation negotiation. I'm going in, I want this money. How am I going to justify it? I need this performance review. So my bosses can look and say, oh, okay, well, you did this project. Oh, you helped us out here. Oh, man, this person's been super valuable to us in the last year. You know what? Cool.
Right.
They deserve their 3% raise.
Right. 3%.
3%.
If you want to get your feelings hurt, go out right now and Google the salary nationally.
Right.
The salary growth is 2.9%.
2.9.
Yeah.
That's it?
2.9%, which means somebody didn't even get their 3% last year.
Look, I've been blessed then.
Oh, we don't even do
I've been real blessed.
Dude, I was at a place where they were arguing about the difference to give this person. And I took what they were giving them for a year, and the raise was so minuscule.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. It was about 3 pizzas a month.
That's ridiculous.
I could eat up this dude's whole raise for a year.
That's ridiculous.
And when people are talking about making money, and by the way, he gets to keep his job by meeting all of everything that's on that list of requirements.
That's ridiculous. 3 pizzas?
3 pizzas a month.
So
wasn't even extra meat pizzas. This was just straight up.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about like the typical structure of the performance review system.
Okay.
You've worked in HR for a long time, 30 plus years, right? I've been in corporate for almost 14 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so, I've been through a ton of performance reviews. And I've worked for nothing but publicly traded companies, so
same formula.
Yeah, it's a similar formula across the board.
Yeah.
But typically, there's a scale of 1 to 5, right? If you fall anything below a 3, they're typically putting you on some type of performance improvement plan, or you're out the door. Let's just be real.
Absolutely.
Let's just be real. You're out the door, right?
Yeah, right.
So, just in terms of typical compensation and bonuses and that type of thing, in your experience, the people who typically get 3s, right? Would you say that most of their compensation increases or their opportunities are kind of limited?
A 3 says I met expectations. Now, first of all, let's talk about the scale, 1 through 5. 3 is meets expectations. 4 is exceeds expectations.
Yeah.
And 5, you're on the Marvel Comics list because you are a superhero.
How many people have you ever seen get 5s?
Very few.
Exactly.
Unless it was a couple of people they really liked.
Yeah, they gotta really like you.
Okay. And some of those guys exist. Okay, so 3 is meets. Now, that's the up end. The bottom end, 2, you're not cutting the mustard.
Right.
And 1 is you suck.
If 1, come on, man.
Now, in the olden days, 1s, and we're watching things change. Jack Welch, Neutron Jack.
Yeah.
GE. If you were a 1, you didn't get a chance to be a 1 again.
Oh, you were out.
You were gone.
Wow. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. 2s, you might get a break 1 year, but you're not going to be around long.
Yeah.
So meets was the bottom of keeping your job. So if you're talking about you want more money, you want a bigger raise, if you're a meet and you're the bottom end of the salary range, they're going to move you up a little bit. But that does not command anybody's salary.
Right. And so in my experience, the process has been every quarter or half year or whatever, right? Usually twice a year. My company is going to quarterly now.
Okay. Which is better.
Yeah, because it's more frequent. So you have more opportunities to kind of improve along the road.
That's what you want.
But the first piece in that process is a self-assessment, right? So that's your opportunity to say, hey, here's what I've done this quarter or this 6 months out of the year, and this is how I feel like I'm performing. You submit that. And then your direct supervisor comes in and says, yeah, such and such has been performing here.
Yeah.
We're going to meet here. Or they'd be like, I disagree with this. You know, I think you've been performing here, right? Where I'm going with that is, in your experience, what's the dispute process like? And who typically wins in the dispute process? If I give a self-assessment and I've been keeping track of what I've done, right, and my boss comes to say, I don't think you did that, and they give you a lower rating, which clearly impacts your standing in the company, your job, your compensation, your additional compensation, right?
Yeah.
How does that dispute go?
First of all, the boss is always going to win.
I hate it.
I know. And every time we say that, somebody writes in or they call in and say, what do you mean the boss always wins? I said, well, have you ever beaten one?
Nope.
Okay. So the boss always wins.
Dang it.
So we'll talk about the tips. We'll talk about steps to make sure that the boss helps you win. Right. Because you've got to work towards that thing.
Yeah.
The boss always wins. Secondly, what you just described is a recent phenomenon of self-assessment. Mm-hmm. Because, and I've used systems that did it. There was a system that in fact, with one analyst, I think we covered about 14,000 people globally. Mm-hmm. Those are the systems that are in place, and it worked your way. The employee wrote their appraisal, went to their supervisor who edited, which if you were a supervisor, you loved it because you didn't have to write 30 appraisals from scratch. And then it would go all the way up, people could see it. But ultimately, your supervisor is going to say what your rating is.
Right.
If it's now, I still know some companies where it's top down and the supervisor says, I've got 14 people, I got to write 14 appraisals.
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does.
And you're trying to remember for what they did the last year. So here's a tip. Here's the tip. You may have to ask God's forgiveness before you do it. The last 6 months before an appraisal, you suck up like mad. Hey, Brian, is there anything I can help you do? Oh, man, you're right there, Johnny, on the spot. Because guess what? This person...
The most recent
dude, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
So that's a reality thing. The real issue, and you alluded to it earlier, you're going to have to keep a relationship with your boss and keep that communication open. Right. You need to... This is your money.
Right. Yeah.
So forget ego. This is how you're going to get paid.
So let's get super into the meat of it because I think this is what people really want to hear.
Okay.
We're going to run down 7 tips to help you what we would call hack your performance review, right? So these are 7 tips that you can apply starting tomorrow or today, depending on however you're listening to this, when you're listening to it.
It's October though. Somebody needed this in January.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, the end of the year is coming up real quick.
Yeah.
7 tips to help you hack your performance review to get a better rating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 1, know your company's goals.
Right. You want to take what you've done during the year.
Yes.
And you want to be able to say, see these things this CEO said we're going to do?
Yep.
Here's what I did to help make that happen.
Absolutely.
So you want to be able to tie everything that you've done back to what the company did.
Absolutely. Number 2, know your bosses or your groups. Know your bosses or your group's goals and how they fit into the company's goals.
Yeah, they call it cascading goals. The company says, hey, I want to do blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Your department says, how do I support that? And you say, how do I support that?
Exactly.
Can I use a football analogy?
Go.
Okay, the coach says we want to win this game.
Yep.
You got a quarterback coach. You've got a linebacker coach. You got a running back coach. Doesn't really matter. All their goals cascade down from we want to win this game.
Gotcha.
Now, there may be some different strategies in different departments.
Yes.
But whatever it is.
I serve an overall goal.
The second thing, now you got the company. That's cool. But the second one on there was the one you really got to get.
What your boss's goals are.
What is your boss's goals?
Right.
If you make your boss look good, your boss doesn't even have to like you to make sure you get paid.
Taken care of.
Absolutely. So,
taken care of.
So what are your boss's goals? And some of us have to get over maybe not liking the boss. It's not about the boss. It's about getting paid.
No, it's not.
I've worked in situations where I think there were a couple of people that were not 100% happy that I was the guy sitting in the chair. They would still come in. Hey, Eric, what do you think we should do? And I'm like, if I was on a mountain, bending over looking at something, and they were behind me,
They gonna kick you off. They gonna give you the
that
boot.
would be. So I wasn't stupid enough to believe they liked me.
Right.
But they understand hierarchy.
Yeah.
You know, you salute the stripes, if not the man.
Yeah.
So if your boss, if that boss is going to have some impact on your check,
Right.
I'm going to find out what it is they want.
Look, I agree. I'll do it today.
And if you're really smart, you'll solve their problems.
Yeah. Fortunately, I like my boss, so we're good.
That's cool. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Number 3, set your personal goals and metrics according to those your boss's goals and the company's goals, right?
Right.
But the added piece to that is set them in a way that you can measure them.
Absolutely.
Because that's important. The reason that's important is you want to be able to take some concrete data back to your superiors. Oh, I hate saying superiors. Apologize for that. Take some concrete data back to your boss and say, hey, this is what I've done, and this justifies how I feel about my performance. Superiors, man.
Dude.
I don't like the term.
You may work for somebody dumber than you. That doesn't matter. I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if this is ego, real quick.
Yeah.
If a person has an ego that I report to, I'm old now. Younger used to bug me. I don't care.
No.
I'm trying to get that check.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get paid, do something with your ego so you can manage that ego.
I'm with it.
So here's the boss, and the boss is saying, what did you do lately? And when you said metrics, here's the thing. You got to be able to measure it because you've got to answer the so what. Now, we covered this on the episode when we were writing our resume.
Oh, yes.
So I say, Brian, I went out with 4 clients, and we did this fix and this fix, and the operation is working better. You can still say, really? So what? We just saved the company $400,000.
Yeah.
Anytime you can link your accomplishments to money, savings, safety, operational efficiency, performance, profitability,
right.
Anytime you can link to that, that's how you get paid.
And some jobs come with built-in metrics already set up. Like if you're in sales
automatic.
I think even teaching, because test scores and things like that are used to kind of justify places.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. But if this was a different podcast and we wanted to start talking about the educational system, I have some thoughts.
I gotta have less pay because something wrong with your kid.
Right.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so number that was number 3, right?
Yeah.
So number 4, if your company gives bonuses based on performance, because some companies just give out flat bonuses, period, right?
Yeah.
But if your company gives out bonuses based on performance, you need to seek out that policy and understand it.
Absolutely. A lot of companies do a one-for-one. For instance, I know a company that gives you maybe 3 or 4 goals and weights them.
Yes.
And the bonus is stupid money because if you know, as you notice, the higher up you go in the salary grades, the higher your bonus is. So one of the spots I know, person I know very, very well, 30, 40% bonus. Okay, take all the money you made that year, and you can get lump sum 30 to 40%.
I need to kind of.
So what you need to, and the company there's one company I'm thinking about, they'll take that bonus and they say, Brian, I want you to do these 4 things this year. And they're not just coming to work. They're like, put in reports that save us money, blah, 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 blah. You need to be able to get all those done, show that they're done, measure that they were done, and look at the bonus and see how that correlates to how much money you're going to get.
Absolutely.
And if most of the companies you say publicly traded, they do it. Some private companies do it. But if they're doing bonuses, they try to at least make it appear transparent because any impropriety sets them up for some bad things on the HR side.
Yeah. Here's one that I need to take my own advice on. Number 5, document everything.
Yeah.
And when I say everything. In some years past, this year I've been a lot better at it. In some years past, man, it's like I'm in such a mode of just getting the work done.
Yes.
that by the time I'm through a project or I'm juggling my normal monthly responsibilities, I've almost forgotten what I've accomplished.
Yes.
And then quarter review hits, and I'm just like, dang, what did I do this quarter?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But I've started to kind of just jot down on a piece of paper and just keep it at my desk. Worked on X project this month, right?
Yeah.
And just throw it to the side and just keep it, just quick notes, right? And I'll compile it later. But that's just to kind of jog your memory on the things that you accomplished in a period, in your performance period,
Yeah.
so that you can put down, the quantification and the justification.
And you may have stuff your boss doesn't have.
Correct.
So you want to have that.
Yeah.
If your boss has 12 people to manage,
Yep.
trust me, they did not spend all that time thinking about what happened to you.
Nope.
So make sure that you keep a copy of that. And then, in that discussion, you're walking in there with something. You're not walking in there, empty-handed. Hey, here's what I did. And be able to tie it back to productivity, efficiency, saving money, making money, revenue, whatever.
Right.
But tie what you did back to how it helps the company.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Number 6, communicate regularly with your boss and ask for feedback.
It's my check.
That's your check, man. Yeah. It's your check.
Here's how to be broke. Sit in your office or your cubicle or your chair and just do your work and don't say nothing to your boss. That's how I like not to make money. And we're laughing about it, but it's sad. Yeah. I've seen people say, I don't want to talk to him, I don't like him. Your job is not to like them. If you got bills to pay, you're trying to enjoy your life, you're trying to go somewhere. This is about working your job.
If your mentality is, clearly this is everybody's mentality. I'm going to work to get a paycheck. That is what it is. But if your actions follow that mentality, typically you will close yourself off from the higher ups. Yeah. Because there's a general, just in society, I think, though, there is a general combativeness with authority.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Man, we hate authority.
Especially in the black community. Let's just be real.
Dude, everybody hates authority.
Yeah. We just
some of those of us that have good tans, we don't know how to fake it.
Right. And faking it to us is selling out.
Yeah.
Right. But in a sense of you're trying to get somewhere, this is not selling yourself out. This is not faking it funk. This is not kissing up, not kissing butt, whatever, right? This is
get that money.
Right. And here's the thing. Build a genuine relationship with your boss.
Oh, you about to make me do a faith thing, man. You're killing me.
Do it.
Oh, man, you just hit me.
Do it.
And I can hear pop in my ear.
Go.
God put me in that spot. Not just to make that check. Oh, man, you just hit me. He put me in that spot to be his fingers, his hand.
Yeah.
And who's to say that I'm not going to have an influence on my boss?
Absolutely.
That he wants to use me. Man, you messed up my day, bro.
Quick story on that note, right? That happened to me.
Really?
I have last year, a couple years ago, like when you and I started rocking super heavy and I'm kind of coming to you for advice and take you on as a mentor or whatever, I just started seeing stuff differently. And that also coincided with my own personal spiritual journey of just trying to kind of focus on being more open to humans, right? You hear me talk a lot about like empathy and just the mindset and that type of thing, right? But when I started doing that, man, I just started looking around at people and just in moments, even when the work may be stressful, I just try to make a human connection. And so I had to travel with my boss a couple years ago. We were traveling a lot. The work was stressful. She had just taken over their position and she was just trying to grasp everything. And her personality type was one that kind of worried a lot. And, most people who know me know I typically stay pretty even keel. I'm fairly patient, easy to talk to. So we just ended up talking a lot on the trips. And I would kind of hit her with some of the things that I was learning about positivity and empathy and connecting with people and that type of thing. And I remember when this last reorganization happened, I was no longer be working for her. But, when we were leaving my last performance review with her, which was earlier this year, she was just like, I appreciate all of the kind words. I appreciate your perspective on things and how positive you stay, because it had an impact in those moments. And I was just kind of sitting there like, I wasn't expecting that. But to your point, it is so spot on true that just because we get a job for selfish reasons, which is I need money to be able to live, right? There can also be a spiritual component there that we have not yet realized. And so we could be sabotaging ourselves for a bigger purpose, right? Or sabotaging ourselves against a bigger purpose by only focusing on our selfish needs at the moment. Because justified selfish needs, by the way.
The boss upstairs is one who's really going to determine how this ends.
Right. That's right.
So you just brought me back. Yeah, this is how you get paid. These are the things you need to go through to make sure everything is documented. However, let's not lose sight of the fact that we may have been placed there by a higher power to make more of a difference. And even on the boss.
Yes.
Like what you said, sometimes we're afraid of the boss or we don't like him enough to have a genuine conversation with him. I just want to get away from him.
Right.
But what if God sent me there to do that?
Now, that could be the case.
Oh, man. And he'll pay me then. If God puts me in a spot, he'll pay me.
He paid. Diving deeper real quick on this, communicate regularly with the boss and ask for feedback. Yeah. So, like I said, where I am now, currently we do this quarterly, right? And so I'm typically going into our quarterly meeting with a view in my mind or even on paper of the things that I've been working on, right? And the just a refresher on the goals of the group, right? In that meeting, I'm trying my best to listen more, and my boss, like I said, I've been blessed to have a good one, right? My boss is always also trying to listen more because now we're two people that have created an environment of listening to each other. We're more apt to collaborate, and I'm more apt to take his or her feedback, right, on where I need to improve, right? And I take that, I'm empowered now because, okay, this is my area of weakness that he saw. Cool. This quarter, I'm about to work on it, right?
Got it.
And you just constantly just have a mindset of improving.
Got it. Listening, and I have to throw this in there only because this is a critical boss direct report relationship. Listen for what keeps your boss up at night.
Absolutely.
So we're in a meeting and you say, hey, Eric, man, these reports are never measuring up and I can't get this other group to take it seriously. I know that's what you go to bed with your heart set on.
Yeah, I like that.
What if I solve that? What would my performance appraisal look like?
You might get that exceeds expectation.
And you know what? That's not. That's not sucking up, man. That's serving.
That's serving. I'm in a position to serve. You just said it. That's a key word.
That I'm in a position to serve. And I heard Akeem Olajuwon say this back when the Rockets, well, they're back, but anyway, back when the Rockets were in their heyday. And they said, man, how do you play that way? He said, I don't play for the fans. I play for God. And whatever his concepts were of God. He said, when I step on the floor, the best, he didn't take a night off. He said, everything that I'm doing, I'm playing for God.
You know, and like I've never thought about it in the context of serving. Again, because my own selfish tendencies are typically in the way. I want to get paid more so I can go home and live a good life with my family.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so service, although that's what you're doing when you try to pay attention to what your boss's needs are.
That's what you're doing.
That's dope. I like that.
So how do you move kissing up and sucking up to service? Because if this guy is better, and I do corny because, I go around the country training and doing seminars and whatever. If I can get two supervisors to treat their employees better.
Oh, you've done it.
That employee goes home and treats his family better.
Absolutely.
The kids may better grades.
Yeah.
And somebody says that's hokey and altruistic. No, I'm just serving.
But you're impacting families.
That's and if more of us looked at our jobs that way, because I'm looking at this thing like this is how I get paid. But also, if I'm serving and I'm documenting serving, I'm good.
You good.
Okay.
I can't argue with you. The very last one, and this is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Right. Number 7. The number 7 tip to hack your performance review
is
get creative. Apply creativity to your position. Now, we talk about this almost constantly now on this show.
Yeah.
But creativity does not always mean having the creative gene of like the arts.
No.
Creativity is problem solving.
Strategic thinking.
Yes, strategic thinking. How can I take what's in front of me, whether it's an issue, whether it's a process, whether it's efficiency, how can I apply strategic thinking, creative thinking, coming up with out-of-the-box solutions to help my group, help the company move forward, to fix this thing. That's creativity. And I guarantee you, because I can speak from experience, getting creative, no matter what job or role that you're in, getting creative to innovate, to improve something or whatever, will absolutely put you in a space in your performance review or in your performance to get better opportunities and increase your paycheck.
It will get you paid.
Absolutely.
Real quick, in 2 seconds, getting creative is the ability to think outside the box and look at the problem differently.
Yeah.
So many people are tactical in that they go to work every day and they do the tactical things. They do their job, and they're good at it. The strategic thinker is the one that gets paid because he steps back and sees all these people doing the tactical things and goes, what's the big picture of
What's the big picture?
The story was told about Michelangelo and coming to the guys that are working on this church. He said, these guys were bricklayers. And he said, one guy said, what do you do? He says, well, I'm laying bricks. Another second guy said, I'm building a wall. The last guy said, I'm building a cathedral. Well, the last guy was the strategic big picture. He knew that every motion that he did, he was still working with the other guys, but every motion that he did there was an outcome attached to it. He basically steps back and looks at big picture. By the way, big picture are the people that get promoted. And as somebody that's done executive coaching and working in that, that's what they're looking for. Can I be a creative, big picture, strategic thinker? That person moves up the chain.
Yep. Again, that's why I like my boss. I do, man. Seriously.
Dude, if you get a good one, you're blessed, man.
That's it.
You're blessed.
Episode 33 of the Beyond the Cubicle podcast. This has been Hacking Your Performance Review. Right? We talked about the performance review in the context of kind of how it can help you just improve your standing at work, get more money.
Absolutely.
And then we ran down 7 tips, and I'll throw them out here for you real quick so you can take the notes down. 1, know your company's goals. Number 2, know your boss's goals and how they fit into the company's goals. Number 3, set your personal goals so that they can be tracked and managed so that you can have better metrics to track them, and also set them so they fit in with your boss's goals and the company's goals. Number 4, if your company gives bonuses based on performance, know the policy. Number 5, document everything. Keep a brag book. Okay?
Everything.
Number 6, communicate regularly with your boss and make sure you ask for feedback. And number 7, get creative. All right? 7 tips to help you improve your performance and your performance standing, your performance review.
And for my faith people out there, stay connected to your higher power.
Always.
Stay connected to God and ask Him to give you a heart for service.
Ooh.
And the rest of this, it'll fall
in place.
Absolutely.
I love it. Beyond the Cubicle, episode 33. For Eric Kelly, I'm Brian Montgomery. See you on the next show.
We out.